Now, it's believed a rise in younger voters heading to the polling stations was a key factor in yesterday's election results, which saw Labour gaining 30 seats. More than 2 million people applied to vote in the month after Theresa May announced the snap election, with the number of 18 to 24-year-olds registering the highest of any age group. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by social entrepreneur and a Queen's Young leader, Adam Bradford. Adam, thanks so much for coming in. Why do you think so many people took to the polls this time round from the younger group?
I actually think this was a backlash from Brexit last year. I know a lot of young people didn't want Brexit to happen. And actually at that time there was a lot of political apathy, so young people didn't want to use their vote because they felt like the older generation were going to sway it, which you might say they did, or that's what the research suggests. So this year there were campaigns to get young people engaged in the vote, and I think Jeremy Corbyn led that very well. He reached out and touched young people and said things that they wanted to hear in a way.
What is it about Jeremy Corbyn that people seem to like so much? Was it his personality, the fact people felt they could, go to the pub with him, have a pint?
Maybe a bit of that, but I actually think he just wanted to talk about what young people wanted to talk about, and Theresa May didn't do that. She was very cold. Her message was over here, whereas with Jeremy Corbyn, I saw him sit in a pub with a young person, with a YouTuber, and have an interview. And the fact that he came down to that level and kind of wanted to shake things up and wanted to see things change and not say the popular things, I think that made young people wake up and say, do you know what, yeah, we're going to vote this year.
And tuition fees is a big one, isn't it? Obviously easy to get younger voters on your side through something like that, but perhaps not in the best interest of the whole country.
No, and I think it's important to say, obviously, it's very idealistic that he said that, and I don't agree with every part of what their manifesto put forward. But I do think there's something to be said about changing the university system. Not quite sure that it's that. But I think the real thing to say today is that I'm very concerned about what Theresa May is doing with the DUP, that we don't understand truly what we're getting into with that concept. And I think a lot of young people are happy that the Conservatives have kind of been dishevelled because we have no space in her narrative. But there's a way to go. And, I think we need to keep making our voices heard, which is exactly why I'm here.
And you're in this younger category. Are you hopeful then that there might be a softer Brexit from all this?
I would hope so. I mean, I think it's very brash to just say Brexit is Brexit and there we go. I think a lot of young people are scared by that. I was at a conference in the EU earlier this week and I've seen all the opportunity that there is. So I think, yeah, softer Brexit would be nice. But let's see where this goes with Theresa May.
And if there is a positive to come out of this election, is it that, younger people are engaged and interested in politics?
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen across my Facebook page and across Twitter this morning and the past couple of days, young people are buzzing. They were electrified by this election. They wanted to see what happened. They wanted to make change. And I think at the end of the day, what we've got to remember is the kind of steadfast voters who are out there are moving on now, and there's this new generation coming through who care about the world, who want to make a difference, who want to get their voices heard, and there's parties who are reaching out to that. So I think we've got to remember, whatever Theresa May does with the government, she's got to listen to the young voters, even if they didn't vote for her, because they're a huge part of the populace, so let's not forget them.
So for your generation, what was the turn-off about Theresa May? Was it her policies or her personality?
So this is really interesting, and I found it personally very hard to put my finger on what it was. But my hunch is that her policies were okay, and some of Jeremy Corbyn's policies were okay. But it's about personality, and it's about that emotional connection. And I definitely felt that she was not representing my generation. I think her approach, in my opinion, has been quite arrogant. And in many ways turned me off. I saw the speech she gave yesterday. It was as though she didn't even know that the result of the election when she made that speech, and it really made me laugh.
So you would have liked an acknowledgement, the fact that she didn't get a majority in that speech, would you?
She's got to be honest, and she's just got to bring it down a level. Her speech is very formalised and very straight, and I think what we want to see is some kind of real talk politics, and that's what young people voted for.
OK, thanks ever so much for that. Thanks for sharing your views and coming in. I appreciate that.